Creating and selling low and medium content books on Amazon KDP can be a lucrative stream of income, whether it be a side hustle or a full-blown publishing business. But it could even be more lucrative if you take advantage of creating the hardcover versions of the paperback books you're already creating. So in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 KDP hardcover niches that you can enter that can help you land even more sales and royalties. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff and I help you become self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. And right now we're talking about low and medium content publishing on Amazon KDP. So if this sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. All right, so let's start with the big question. Why bother creating hardcover books when you're already doing paperbacks? Well, the main reason is pretty simple. Hardcover books are seen as having more value, they have that premium feel, they last longer, and people are willing to pay a bit more for them. Think about it, whenever I'm buying books as gifts or even for myself, I almost always opt for the hardcover version. Why? Well, because it just feels a little bit more special, even though the content inside is exactly the same as the paperback. And I'm not alone. People tend to associate hardcovers with something that they'll keep for a long time, and even like to display them around the house. Plus, hardcover books make for great gifts. So in creating this list, I thought about the type of books that people would tend to keep for a long time, and even thought about the type of books that people would like to showcase in their homes, as well as books that people would tend to give as gifts. So with that being said, let's get right to it. Now, when deciding to put which hardcover niches to put on this list, I look for 3 specific things, as I do with all my niche research. Number 1, I'm looking for search results that have about 1,000 or less, because this is going to tell me that the competition is not so high. Number 2, I'm looking for 3 KDP books that all have a BSR of 300,000 or below, because this is just going to tell me that these books are already selling, which means that there is some sort of demand for this niche. And then number 3, I'm looking for a niche score that's provided by a plugin that I'm using that has a score of 50 and higher. So the first niche is going to be the monthly bill payment logbook. Now you're going to see this purple bar on my screen. This is called Titan's Quick View, and it's a plugin or an extension that I use from the Chrome Web Store that gives me more information on the niches, as well as it helps me with my research as well as keyword research. So if you want to use this, head over to the Chrome Web Store and make a search for Self-Publishing Titans and install both of these extensions right here. They are free to use and will help you with your keyword and niche research. Now, the first thing that we see is that this search term has 613 total results. So that's really good, which tells me that there's not a lot of competition in this niche because it is below the 1,000 that I'm looking for. So now let's look through this first page to see if there's any books that are selling well. Remember, we're looking for 3 KDP books that all have a ranking of 300,000 or below. So let's check out this first one right here. So under publisher, what we're looking for is for it to say independently published, which is going to signal to us that it is probably a KDP book. But this one doesn't say that, so we're going to move on to the next one here. This is not a KDP book, and we just keep looking until we find that first book that says independently published, which is this one right here. And we can see this one has a bestsellers rank of 28,000, which is really good. So let's look for 2 more of these types of books. We have this book right here at 52,000. So that's book number 2. And then we have this book right here ranking in at 39,000. So that's already book number 3. And I'm already seeing even more books ranking below that 300,000. Here's one at 198. And there's going to be a few more here on the first page of Amazon. But I already know that there's enough demand here to move on to the third step, which is looking at this niche score that's provided by Titan's Quick View and has a score of 69, which is above the 50 that I'm looking for. So this satisfies all 3 of those requirements that I'm looking for. And so I know that this has potential for profit. So if we go ahead and look at one of these books, for example, this one right here, we can see that it's been doing pretty well since 2022. It has a 4.7 rating and 447 ratings overall. And the big thing that I see here is that it's only being offered in paperback. But I'm thinking, what if this was offered in hardcover version? How much extra sales would this publisher have? If we look at this graph right here, so this is for the past 30 days of its sales history. So let's go back to about a year and we can see that it's been doing pretty well this year. And it's actually been doing better this year than it has last year. But as you can see, when it was first published, the sales were kind of all over the place. And then it started doing well around 2022 and it's kind of maintained that positioning right here. And so making a hardcover version for this type of book, I think is a good idea, especially if you have a book that's already doing well, because it's only going to show up in this listing anyways. And so if this publisher were to make a hardcover version of this book, it would show up right here as an option for the hardcover version. And so the hardcover version would get its own listing, but also would be connected to the paperback version of the book. Now, the next niche we have is the vacation home guest book. And I'm actually in this niche, and this is a very good niche to make a hardcover version for, because a lot of homeowners and guests will actually prefer the hardcover version over a paperback version of the book. As we can see just on this first page, you're going to see a lot of hardcover versions from other different types of publishers that are not KDP. You will see KDP books like this one right here and these ones right here. However, if these publishers are making the hardcover version of their paperbacks, they're going to be able to take advantage of those extra sales. So let's go ahead and look at the search results. So we see right here, total results come up to 1,365. That is still good enough for me because, like I said, I'm looking for about 1,000 or below. So ultimately, if it has a 1 in front of it, then it's good to go. And we see here the average bestsellers rank is 181,000. So that's actually very, very good. So let's look through the first page here for some of these KDP books that are selling well. We have this book right here, ranking it at 116,000. So that's book number 1. This book is just above 300,000. This book is 238,000. So that's book number 2. This book is 141,000. So that's book number 3. So my step 2 is already satisfied, and I'm already seeing a couple more books here that are ranking under 300,000. And so I know there is demand for this niche. And with a niche score of 81, which is quite high, higher than the 50 that I'm looking for, this niche satisfies all 3 of my requirements, which is a very, very good sign. So let's go ahead and look at one of these books. So this book right here is ranking in at 116,000, which is very good. Has a 4.7 out of 5 rating, 153 ratings overall. But the biggest thing that I want you to see is that while it does offer the paperback version here, it also offers the hardcover version. So if we go ahead and click right here, it'll take us to the hardcover listing. And as you can see, it's priced a lot higher to take into account the higher quality and the higher print costs. So this one's priced at $17.99. And as you can see, it is actually a different size than the paperback. The paperback is a square, 8.5 by 8.5, but the hardcover, there are some limitations with the print size, but one of them that you could do is 7 by 10 inches, which is right here. And as you can see, when you click on the hardcover, there is no difference with the ratings and their reviews. And so your customer is going to see the same ratings and reviews as your paperback version, which is just a boost to your hardcover. Now, your hardcover is going to get its own BSR, which can be seen right here. But seeing that it doesn't take that much time to actually go and create a hardcover version of your paperback, this to me is really a no-brainer in certain niches. And right here is the A+ content where the publisher can put more information, more pictures, more images, more details about the book. As we can see here, some interiors, some of the specs of the book, as well as the module right here where you can add more of your books to showcase to potential customers, which is something that I actually 100% recommend for you to do. If you want to learn how to do this or just how to create A+ content, which will boost your sales, go ahead and click somewhere around this video. I'll insert a card for you to watch the video that I made on how to create A+ content. Now the next niche is very similar to the previous niche, but it is the sign-in guest book for wedding, or a wedding sign-in guest book. So typically with these, people are going to prioritize a hardcover version over any paperback version that you would find. We can see this one right here has a ranking just above 300,000. But the thing that I want to show you is it actually doesn't have a hardcover option right here. And even then, it's still doing pretty well with 4.6 out of 5 rating and 41 ratings overall. I think this publisher should be offering the hardcover version of their book. As we can see here, total results is just over 2,000. So it is a little bit higher than I expect, but with a little bit of working right here with the keywords, I'm sure you'd be able to find something that is a little bit less than this 2,000. However, with the niche score of 94, that is quite high. And so it might be a good idea to create a hardcover version for this niche. The next niche is the address book for seniors. So the very first thing we see is total results is 1,327. So that is okay. And let's look at some of the books here on the first page. This book right here is ranking in at 120,000. This book is just above 300,000. We have this book at 269,000. And this book is at 112,000. So we can see there is demand for this niche. And with a niche score of 86, that's well above the 50 that I'm looking for, which is telling me that there is good potential for profits in this niche. Now, the good thing about these books and these niches is that they're actually pretty easy to make, and they're pretty simple because they're typically just the same page repeated over and over. As you can see, here is the address page right here for A, and it's repeated the same, and another one, and another one. And then when you get to B, the only difference is this is marked as B, your pages are marked as B, and it changes with the letters for the addresses, but the rest of the page is basically the same, which makes it an easy type of book for beginners, especially to start creating onto Amazon KDP. Now, the last niche that we have is the graph paper composition notebook. And as we can see right off the bat, it has a niche score of 86. So that's very, very high. The average bestsellers rank is under 300,000 and the total results is 1,245. So not too competitive. If we check out this book right here, you see it has a ranking of 13,915, which is very low. It has a 4.6 out of 5 rating, 87 ratings overall, but it doesn't offer the hardcover version, only the regular paperback. And so this is another example of this publisher not taking advantage of all the features that KDP has, especially because creating the hardcover version of your book is actually very simple to do. And if we look at the interior, well, it's just a bunch of grid lines for graph paper, and that's all it is, just repeated over and over. This really doesn't take any time at all to make. Now, a place I like to look at when it comes to creating a book is looking at the customer reviews, because this is a place where you can find recommendations from customers. So if you wanted to make a book similar to your competitor, you could take into consideration these reviews and make your book better. So for example, this one right here. So this person gave this book a 5-star, but if we read this through, it says cover not as thick as the normal comp notebooks. But if you don't have a problem with the cover thickness, then this is a notebook for you. Flimsy, but durable. So maybe if there was an option for the hardcover version of this book, maybe since this person is complaining about this, maybe other people are, and they would appreciate a book that had a thicker cover. So it's always a good idea to go through the customer reviews to try to see where you can make improvements and implement it into your own book. Well, there you have it. That's it for today's video. Now, if you want more niche ideas, you can go visit my Gumroad shop. Link is down below, and it'll give you more resources when it comes to publishing low and medium content books on Amazon KDP. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video, as well as follow me on all my socials at JeffSetLife. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.